Here we go, baby. This is the Danny Pessy Show. Goodness gracious.
I'm Jace, co-founder, CEO of Off Grid.
I'm Connor, one of the other co-founders of Off Grid.
I got into solar 3 years ago.
My start to the industry, I actually was sifting through social media like middle of COVID.
Tell me, was it like through the chimney, through a window? How did you hop into this house? Hey mom, thanks. I just graduated med school. They're like, congratulations, you're done with med school. Where's you going, huh?
What do you plan on doing? I told them, I'm gonna go knock doors. Are you crazy? I was like, no.
We need to have more control of this. Like guys like that should not be going home unsuccessful.
That's one of the biggest things as leaders is you take time to really focus on your people. You guys are so young. How old are you?
22.
21.
22. Gosh.
Once you can master self-awareness, then you can really figure out where you want to dive into.
Unfortunately, sometimes you gotta learn the hard lessons in life.
Life is that tomorrow is never guaranteed. That was really something that definitely changed, shifted me to just move in the right direction, just to make sure I'm doing everything on a day-to-day that I'd be proud of if I died tomorrow.
A lot of knowledge for some young folks. Peace. Here we go, baby. This is the Danny Pessy Show, the show that nobody asked for, but you're getting it anyway. Here we are. I've got an accent. I'm using my hands, and I'm with my first guests on my podcast, my show. Here we go. Oh, goodness gracious. We've got the boys from Off Grid, Jace and Connor Green. Oh my God, gentlemen, welcome to the Danny Pessy Show. Here you are, my nice sofa. Oh, it's real leather feel, the sofa. It's fantastic. Excited to have you guys here, man. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Tell everybody that's watching.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'm Jace. It's good to meet everybody. I'm co-founder, CEO of Off Grid.
Pleasure to be here. Appreciate the intro. I'm Connor, one of the other co-founders of Off Grid. So it's a pleasure to be here, Danny.
Man, dude, I'm excited to have you guys on, man. We got some exciting stuff to talk about today. So if you guys are tuning in right now, you're not going to want to miss this. We're going to go to a commercial break right now, just as we're getting started. And this commercial break is all about getting golden teeth from our sponsors. Cut. All right, now we're back. So guys, there's been a lot of noise about you. You're thinking the talk of the town right now. I mean, if you guys were hot chicks at a high school, everybody would be talking about you here. So tell us what's going on with this Off Grid, man. I mean, you see a lot of dealers popping up, but essentially you guys literally came up at it overnight, and I think last month you did 150 deals. So, it's incredible. We're talking solar here. It's super, super impressive. And if you're on the Danny Pessy Show, then you're doing something right, or you're doing something wrong, very wrong. And you might be in jail for it, and I might be televising from prison. But we're not in prison tonight. We're actually in Serge's house, on his couch. So it's not even my couch. I lied about it. I'll be honest with you. I'm on Serge's couch, and we're interviewing you guys. So, dude, what ended up happening, man? Where did you guys come from, dude? I know, Jace, you were trading freaking, you were part of my coaching group for a little bit, and then you paid me with NFT, and then the NFT ended up losing money, so I actually got you in the program for free. Enjoy it. I was a great NFT. You sent me the picture of the guy, and then I looked him up. He doesn't exist. So I don't know any NFTs, NFGs. I don't know, but man, tell me tell me a little bit about yourself before you got into the game, man. What's happening here?
Yeah, no, so I got into solar 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years ago now. So I'm from Indiana originally.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Well, somewhere in the Midwest. We should play a lot of basketball, farm a lot of corn. But so I moved out here 3.5 years ago to Irvine, started selling solar door to door when I was 18. Had about $2,000 of graduation money. Kind of put that to work, signed a lease for $1,000 a month, and just hoped to God that it worked out. Next thing I knew, we used to get paid on FC.
Okay.
We got a deal 4 days in, got a $3,000 check a week later, and that paid my bills for the next month and a half. So that's how I got started in it.
Dang.
Yeah, so my start to the industry, I actually was sifting through social media like middle of COVID, and I was in college. I was pre-med. Just decided, absolutely hated it. Saw all the markets crash, saw doctors getting laid off, and I was pre-med. So I said, hey, what's a skill that I can take moving forward that's going to be valuable in any market, whether it's up or down? And for me, that was going to be learning to sell. So I'm looking through a bunch of different sales opportunities, and then came across solar, and I was just hopping on live streams every single day, seeking opportunity. And then a year later, this was literally a full-on year. I was hopping on lives trying to see what I wanted to do, and then I actually found Jace I saw it was like I remember his post. It was like he made 17K in 9 days, and I was like, what is this? What are we talking about here? Because the whole goal for a lot of entrepreneurs in the space that was publicized was like, oh, get to 10K a month, and he's like 17K in 9 days. Let's see if this is real. And turns out it was. I moved down to Tampa, hopped in a house on 48 hours notice, and then long story short, moved out to California a couple years back, and here we are. So
Mr. Green, clarify with me here. You said you hopped into the house. So like, tell me, was it like through the chimney, through a window? How did you hop into this house?
So basically, me and Jace hopped on a call. We were talking, and he said, "Hey, I got this house in Tampa starting in 2 days. Like, can you be down there?" And I said, "Screw it, whenever." I just graduated college, so literally drove on down there with a couple duffel bags in the car, and hopped into the house. When we hopped in the house, we just walked in, met all the boys.
Never met any
of them before, and then going forward, we all just became boys, and then ended up moving out to California together. So that's where we had our start in Florida, and then we moved out to California.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick, bro. I mean, how pumped were your parents after going through med school to become a solicitor? I mean, how was that conversation? I know it must have been tough. Like, hey, Mom, thanks. I just graduated med school. They're like, wow, congratulations. Where's your parents from?
New York.
Oh, hey, congratulations. You're done with med school. Where's you going, huh? And then you had to say, actually, Dad, I'm becoming a door-to-door solicitor. So pretend I'm your father. Hey, you did it. You graduated from med school, man. Where are you going?
Yeah, so I actually went home for Christmas that year.
Yeah.
And this had been something in the talks that I was going to do this, and this was 2 years back, and I wanted to drop out of school previous to that, and they knew that.
Okay.
But I got back to New York, and I was talking to them, and they said, what do you plan on doing? And I told them, I'm going to go knock doors. Like, I heard about this opportunity to go knock doors. Like, you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no. I was like, I heard the opportunity is to make as much as a doctor's salary can, and first year in solar, so I'm going to go try it out. Worst case, it doesn't work. What do? I go back to med school, and I go become a doctor. Best case, I make a career out of it, and then, change my life. I was like, there's going to be no other opportunities where right now at this age to make doctor salary, I'd have to wait 10 years in school to do that. So I said, biggest risk is not taking any risk for me, and literally just said, screw it, we're going down. And
you said forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, that was like kind of what I lived by. It was the biggest risk is not taking any risk. So I told them that. They didn't believe in me at first, obviously, as most parents wouldn't, because they just didn't understand the opportunity. When you don't understand something, it's hard for you to comprehend it. So they didn't understand it. But then once they actually understood it, they got a grasp on it, and they saw that we were deregulating, power, right? So that's literally all we're doing. We're deregulating power, and it's now becoming a financial product where people are getting to own their own power, at a cheap rate. They get to redirect equity into their house instead of throwing it away to the utility. So once you understand like the basic concepts of owning the power versus leasing it, then you understand there's a real business there. Sun comes out every day, why not use it?
Hey,
so, but
say that again.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Sun comes out every day, so why not use it?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, dude, the sun. There's enough power from the sun in a 24-hour period that could provide enough electricity for the whole world for a full year. So it's crazy, man. I mean, I stuck my hand outside earlier today and I could feel it. Like I could feel the sun's heat, like on my hand.
It is crazy, especially how much money you can just literally save just by utilizing it. Nobody uses it. It just sits there and just burns the earth.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's there. We're not using it, and they're like digging stuff up. It's stupid. And I had a big gig this weekend. I was speaking in LA, and there was about 200-300 people, and at the end I was taking Q&As, and I was asking people, hey, what are really good questions to ask people about solar? And we were talking about how a lot of electricity is just utility rates and their surcharges. And she's like, the question she would ask her customers is hey, Mr. Customer, do you like ordering pizza? And the customer's like, yeah, sometimes. I'm like, okay, cool. What happens if you go to order a pizza and it costs $200 to deliver it to your house? What would you do? Customer was like, I don't know. She's like, you'd make it at home. Just like solar is to the pizza. It's an analogy. It's like when one thing sounds like something else, you put it two together, something sparks. It's like, why the heck would you be getting pizza for a $200 delivery fee when you could make it at your house? Same thing with electricity. You put the panels on your roof, you get the free stuff. You cut out the service fees. And so guys, if you're watching this right now, we're jamming about solar. You saw these two young entrepreneurs. They started up out of nowhere, and in 3 months, you're at now? 4 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months of starting off-grid, these guys have built a sustainable business. And how many deals did you guys clear last month?
Last month, we've cleared 150 the first 3 months.
150 the first 3 months. Jumping Jehoshaphat's, guys. And for any of you that wasn't born before 1980, that means holy guacamole. That's a lot. That's really, really impressive to put in those kind of numbers. So the thing is in life, you're going to either let life happen to you or you start happening to life. So these guys have taken it into their own hands to start happening to life. Now, you guys were with a good company before, and what made you guys leave the comfort of an organization and go start your own? When is the time to do something like that?
So I can touch on that because I know Jace was a little bit hesitant at first to make moves, but really where it came for me is when I actually started recruiting, when I wasn't just a solo rep, when I actually became like a leader of a team, where it was ultimately on my back that if my guys don't get paid, it comes back on me. And really what it came down to is organization scaled too quick, took on too many people. They couldn't fulfill jobs. Guys didn't get paid. Guys didn't get paid that didn't have money in their bank accounts. We're in commission only sales. You don't have a salary. They can't survive. So my new guys can't wait 3 months to not get paid. So really where it came up for me was to say, hey, we have to start something that's more sustainable so I can actually recruit and retain more people. And that's basically what we started looking into other options, saying how can I actually recruit and maintain my reputation, saying that if I'm going to tell someone you're going to get paid in 30 days, I'll make sure you get paid in 30 days. Yeah. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't have that promise to my guys anymore, which just made me lose faith in my recruiting ability and then also our product. So it was like the only way to really regain that back, that conviction in our product and our service, was for us to start our own thing. So we had more control.
That's it. Man, so I mean, that's what a lot of guys don't realize is, if you don't know me, I don't know why the hell you're watching this podcast, but if you should, I've been doing this thing for about 16 years, and so you end up seeing a lot of trends come and go. And for me, I sold alarms for a long time, and being a top performer, I live lavishly. Versace this, Gucci that. It's just a way of life for me. And at the end of the day, you ended up having a lot more Gucci than you had a lot more paychecks. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, some of these guys don't make any money. And as a leader, you got to rebuild over and over and over again because your guys don't get paid. So when was the time where you said, hey, I'm tired of this. My guys are broke. It's my fault. I got to put them in a better vehicle. When does that time come?
That time for us was when I had guys that I was fronting money for housing that weren't getting paid, that couldn't even afford cheap rent. I was charging $500 a room, losing money on it. Yeah. And when I knew they couldn't pay a $500 payment for rent, how are they going to pay for their food, their car expense, their gas? I'm having these guys drive out to turf that might be 50 miles away, and they can't even pay for their gas. It was like, so the time for me was just saying, if timelines are going to be 3 months in the space, which, it's solar, it's construction. So you have to expect a longer timeline, but, you don't have to stay with that timeline. Yeah. So, kind of what we outsourced to is guys weren't getting paid, and it was kind of just immediate. It was after a month, we said we just got to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I would say the main thing was there was this one stud that Connor had recruited, and he came out and ended up going home, and it was really just came down to a lot of different factors, I guess, for him going home. But as soon as we lost him, we were like, okay, we need to have more control of this. Like, guys like that should not be going home unsuccessful. Like, they should be going back and recruiting from their home because of how successful they became. Yeah. So as soon as that happened, and like the reason I was more hesitant is like I don't really notice like day-to-day things. I'm more so focused on like more macro events, and so I don't notice timelines or like an M1 not coming in or like a commission not coming in. I'm not really good at that. That's why Connor here, that's why we're co-founders. Like, there's things he's good at, I'm not good at. So like my head was kind of above the water on seeing those things. And then he brought it all up to light to me of like, this guy's trying to find this installer for this job. He's trying to find this installer for this job, and so on. And there's a lot of just mismatches that way of guys trying to find different installers. So like I have a lot of connections in the industry, and I've been in it for a while and tried to build a good reputation. Yeah, especially with your NFTs, great reputation. Yeah, so that really helped a lot with the reputation. But going back on like my solar reputation, maybe not my crypto, but in solar at least, I tried to make sure I don't burn bridges. I try to mend bridges. So whenever I had that opportunity, I went to everybody I knew, try to figure out who's going to help us out the most, and then landed on a better opportunity than we were at, and then moved on from there. But I would say the main catalyst was really
Probably Ryan going home. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it was Ryan going home. It was also other guys searching for other installers that we knew we can actually capitalize better than they could just because we knew the industry better.
Yeah.
Newer guys trying to find better opportunities, like the grass always greener on the other side. Like, we can actually analyze that more than somebody else can just because we've heard more things in the space just by being in it longer.
Makes sense.
So we knew that we would be able to deliver better than anything that they would, get promised elsewhere, because if we were, given false promises in the past, then that's what we learned from. But these guys hadn't necessarily learned from false promises in the past. So I'd hate to see guys get burned. So basically for us, it's just how can we prevent our guys from getting burned so they want to actually stay in the industry.
Yeah, and dude, what's really cool to hear is you guys are so young. How old are you?
22.
21.
22. Gosh, hot diggity dog. These gentlemen are so young, but if you notice and you're paying attention and you're watching this, and notice how much they say we and our people. And that's one of the biggest things as leaders is you take time to really focus on your people. And I haven't heard one thing, hey, these guys are going to pay me more, these guys are going to pay me more, I was going to do better, this, and that. It's all about their guys and all about their people. And so that's, if you're watching this, notice if you are a leader, I know they're saying a lot of good things, but notice the underlying thing, it's all built around what their people are. And I know there's been plenty of times I was in the total wrong vehicle. I was in alarms for the last 2 or 3 years, and before I got into solar, and I should have transitioned into solar sooner. And unfortunately, alarms is not the industry that it is anymore. And it seems like it's kind of a similar situation. I had to leave what I was comfortable with. You guys had to leave what you were comfortable with and start taking ownership of your own and making it kind of the next big thing. And so you guys have done a great job for that. So what's in the future for you guys? What's like the big picture? Where are you guys trying to take this thing?
Big picture for me, especially 2023. I mean, I want to have 1,000 reps. Like, my biggest thing is always scaling people. Like, I always talk about, like, there's obviously you can get leads or you can like really recruit. There's a lot of different companies where they either want to be like a lead facing company or they want to have a large team of people. For me, it's always been like the team of people because I want to impact more people that way. Okay. And then obviously leads are going to come from that. So the key going forward for me, like I said, is being able to build the systems correctly, being able to build the mentors where the more people we bring in, they're actually going to be able to get fulfilled on the training that they're expecting, the mentorship they're expecting, and keeping health and wealth is like the main forefront for our business because that's what we focus on the most.
Yeah, and realistically for me, it's just like I want us to be the people that they think about. So if I had friends, family, extended people in the industry, I want us to be the people they think about and us to be able to deliver on that product. Yeah. So going forward, it's like how many states can we be in and how many states can we be in efficiently too and effectively to actually grow other states where we're the people they think of. Because I know that we'll take care of people the best compared to other companies from what we've seen, obviously, which is why people start to make moves. There's a lot of noise in the industry, but it's who's going to actually take care of the reps the best, and I want to be able to do that in all the states.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I had a younger manager that was one of my clients for a while, and I warned him that, hey, man, the moment you stop forgetting that the reps are the key is the moment that they're going to start leaving you and find those leaders. And unfortunately, he learned the hard way. He's had his sales org ripped from him multiple times, and it's crazy that these guys continue not to learn the lessons. And as CEOs, unfortunately, I learned this from Doug Robinson, the owner of Legacy. He's like, hey, man, if you're going to live the life, it can't be on social media. Because if people start seeing you going out and jet setting and they go seeing you doing all these things while you're out there knocking doors, resentment builds, and they go split and go do their own thing. And so, as you guys are, growing up and learning this, obviously, hopefully you take that into consideration too, as well as that you don't celebrate till the job's over. 100%. And you guys are younger, and that's what's cool is that you can really appeal to a college and bring into younger vibes, which is the next flow of the industry. I am part of like the third generation in door-to-door. There was the first founders that started from like the early 90s. Like the early pest control industry was really, really big. The second generation, you get the guy starting in 2004 to 2002 or 2002 to 2006. And then the third generation was like 2007 to 2009-ish. So I'm like part of that third generation. We're now in like the sixth generation, and you guys are going to be bringing on the seventh and eighth generation. It's just been crazy to kind of see where all of this has grown, and it's exciting to see that your young potential and what your future is going to be. And as you guys are a growing organization, it's you want to really make sure you're attracting the right people, and you have that thought of who you want to hire. So if you guys could picture someone in your mind, what are 3 main characteristics you look for in a successful sales rep?
Athletic, put together, and then shoulders back.
Okay. So that's funny. You actually classify as 2 out of 3. I'm waiting to see if you're athletic. You post a lot on Instagram about b-ball, but if you guys didn't know that, the Pessimaniacs, we got the up and under left-handed hook shot. It's not it's possible to block, but I haven't seen it been done. I've played against a lot of guys. You might know him: Kareem Olajuwon, Manute Bol, Scottie Pippen, a few to say the least. People that I've personally balled up myself. But hopefully, Jace, you're going to be on that list soon. So I'm excited to see you about that. And then, Mr. Green, what about you? 3 people. Three characteristics.
Yeah, 3 characteristics I look for are just like kind of people that I want to be able to do life with as well, because it's going to be somebody that I want to spend time with, that'll train, that'll, my expertise will rub off on them just from spending time. So I want to make sure that I can actually do life with these people, not just business. I want to make sure they're definitely athletic, and then, all of our values align as well.
Very cool. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. If you are managing and you're looking to build a team and an organization, make sure that you're very clear on who you guys want to, recruit. And also make sure that if you're doing a podcast, don't cut yourself shaving 3 hours earlier, because then if you scratch your face, you start bleeding. Guys, that's a great lesson. So we're learning lots of lessons here tonight. So if you're watching this, please don't do it. I'm bleeding right now. Oh, it's okay, I'm going to survive, but it's a great learning lesson for the kids, for the children. If you're a child watching this, don't cut yourself shaving.
Your solution is called an electric razor.
Well, here's the thing. I shave with a regular one, and then I use the electric to get super close, and I just don't know what happened. I was excited. I'm like, I'm going to be on camera. And then I cut myself out of excitement. And so, unfortunately, sometimes you got to learn the hard lessons in life. Before we wrap this up, I want to ask you, what's the hardest lesson that you've had to learn in life so far?
Yeah, so for me, I would say it's just a grass isn't always greener would be the main lesson. And I know that might seem weird considering we just came from somewhere and are now in a better area. But more so when it came to my business of, I like to, my mind always like jumps around from different place to different place. And so just focusing and actually like digging your feet into a certain niche, making sure that you kind of run down that lane and have more tunnel vision. I know a lot of people tell you to do everything and do all these different things, but I think that advice can kind of get you into the wrong place sometimes, and then you're just out there exploring. You're not making any money, you go make 20K, and then you want to go explore this other market, and then you don't make any money. So then you really, over the course of that 3 months, you might have made 20K this month, but then you took 2.5 months over here, so then you only made like 7K. So it's like really just dig in, whatever you're doing, whether it's sales or not sales, but it's like just find your niche, find what you're really good at, have a lot of self-awareness. Most people don't have self-awareness. So once you can master self-awareness, then you can really figure out where you want to dive into.
So find your niche. What about finding your niche?
Yeah, whichever one you want to say it, tomato, tomato.
All right, it's an Indiana slang. You guys heard it here first.
Cool. Do you want to repeat the question?
So what is the hardest lesson you've ever had to learn?
The hardest lesson that I've had to learn is not necessarily just business. It's more so just life, is that tomorrow is never guaranteed. So the reason I say that is because like I used to drive motorcycles, do a lot of things that weren't the safest. And then realistically, like last year or a year and a half ago, I saw like a crazy motorcycle wreck. And I realized like in a split second, something can just completely change your life forever, whether it's permanent disability or death. So it's like living every day like it's your last, is I'd say like something that I really like, learned that came to me. That was really something that definitely shifted me to just move in the right direction, just to make sure I'm doing everything on a day-to-day that I'd be proud of if I died tomorrow, right? So that's the hardest lesson that I had to learn is that obviously we're fragile beings. So, make sure, take care of yourself and, do the right thing on a day-to-day basis.
Boom. Dude, love it, man. A lot of knowledge for some young folks. So all you Pessimaniacs out there, if you got some nugs from these boys, we're going to slap in their Instagram logos right underneath them here. They got an editing team that can like edit it. So if you're looking at look at that, it's cool. It's in the hands. But where can they find you guys, man? What's going on? Where are you? What states are you located? Where can they find you, boys?
Honestly, I mean, we have access to a lot of states, but mainly California, Arizona, SoFlo.
I don't know what SoFlo
New York,
is.
maybe. Southern Florida.
Oh, Southern Florida. Oh.
Yep. Those are the main ones, but really just the Southwest right now. But we're looking at the Northeast too. So those are the main places. California, Huntington Beach is the home of Off-Grid officially.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And then way to find me, Instagram, it'll be Connor Green 111. So CONNORGREEN 111. So that's where you can find me on socials. We can connect there. Shoot me a DM.
So you tried to get Connor Green 1-1, and then it was taken?
I wish I had Connor Green, but it was all taken.
So you're one. So
1-1-1.
dude, I had some Filipino dude, or no, he was Indonesian, had Danny Pessy. I messaged him, and I sent him $200, and I tried to switch it, but they said, Facebook, you have 30 days to not switch it. So I sent him the money, and then at day 29, right before the switch, he's like, hey, my brother stole the $200 out of my PayPal account. I need money. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to send him more money, or I knew he would pull the old, hoot angle on me.
No, that happened.
And so basically sent him the money. I don't know how someone can steal from your PayPal account. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is Indonesia. And if you're watching this in Indonesia, I'm sorry if I offended you, but please don't steal money from me. Okay, I know your brother didn't take it. Send it back. Send it back. So, yeah, it's hard to get those Instagram titles.
Were you going for location there, or were you going for Instagram handles?
Instagram handles. Where is your Instagram handle?
Yeah, no, it's JVCERUSS. So it's like Jace Russ with a V instead of an A.
Hip.
Yeah.
Sick.
I actually had the same scenario. Tried to get Jace Russ. Got $500 taken. R.I.P. Jace Russ.
Damn.
It's actually a solar guy that still has it.
Really?
Believe it or not, in Fresno. Yep. Want to hand it over.
Yeah, geez, what a snake in the grass.
Yeah.
What can you do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Pessy Show. I hope you guys were educated. I hope you were entertained, and hopefully you were integrated, which is entertained and educated in one word. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we're out. Peace.
Peace.